Coach, congrats, big win over San Diego State, 2-0. Your overall thoughts on the match?
You know, the irony is we scored 2 goals in the first half, and I thought we played better in the second half. We shored some things up, but created some great chances. I think we were unlucky not to score more than 2. But again, after coming off a loss against Florida, we had our chances to score there. You know, we really were like, we got to come out and get the ball in the back of the net. And some of the players we put in did really well again. So subs are raising the level, and so then the starters can't feel comfortable. It's a good thing because everyone feels pushed and no one can be complacent.
Jackson comes up big for you. 5 minutes in, gets that first goal, and it seemed like you played with the confidence there. You talked about when you get that lead, it's a different match.
It's a whole different match. And so, you know, when we talked about the Florida match, if we had scored in the first half there, it's a whole different game going into halftime. And so, yeah, anytime you score, it just changes the momentum swing. Your girls feel more confident, and you know, it's just a whole different game. So it was really important to then defend well, and which we did. I think we didn't allow any one shot on goal. So our back line's playing tremendous. And if you haven't noticed, they're young, so it's a great thing. We got some freshmen back there, and Bianca's a sophomore only. You know, Lauren's a senior, kind of holding down the fort. But you know, it's been great to see them kind of. We got better today. We're still obviously we're going to be by the end of the season, but we're getting better every game, and even the second half was better.
And you talked about your defense. I mean, you really shut them down. They really barely threatened maybe once or twice in the match. Yet they're the younger part. They've seem to be more ahead of everybody else. Is that a pretty fair assessment? They're ahead of the midfielders and forwards in that regard?
As far as being organized?
Yeah,
it is. And maybe because in preseason our attack looked really good, and so I was a little bit worried about our defense, especially our FIU scrimmage. I was like, oh, we're a little disjointed. So I really focused on the defense from then on and got them organized. So I think we allowed the attack to kind of like do their own thing, and we kind of let them go a little bit. And as a staff, we're like, okay, we need to shore up everything. And you know, the defense really has come along really well. And the attack is still very good, but the midfield defense needed to be better from the floor. That was the big hole in the Florida game, was the midfield defense. And today they got better. There's still some things we need to work on. But it's always a work in progress.
And you had some chances with your forwards, obviously, to get extra goals there. Are they kind of rushing some? It seems like at times they're kind of rushing the play where they're trying too quick there when the play's there. They be more patient. They might get a better opportunity.
Yeah, I think there's been both. Some of them need to, step to a ball to get. Amanda on that one waited. I was like, why is she just running to go smack it? And then there's some that they rush their shots, or they take a touch. Sometimes they take an extra touch when they don't need to. And I think Amanda had one in the first half down there. I was like, bring it down and smack it, and she played a good ball to somebody running through. But yeah, we need to work on that finishing focus, to fine tune when to take a touch, when not to. Just the quick shot out of the air, not bringing it down. Just take those half chances, because that's what scores your goals.
You got to be pleased. Bouncing back, obviously, after the Florida loss, the girls bounced right back against a very good San Diego State team. Made the second round of the tournament. That's got to be an early good sign that your team can bounce back right away.
Yeah, it is. They're a resilient group. They're young. That's what some of these girls. The ones from England, they don't know what Florida is and conferences, and they just want to play the game of football. They just come out and run around. So it's nice, and Sox in the center back. She's in there because of Truco. She had a great game tonight. She's just very solid, and so yeah, they're resilient, and I think part of the problem early on in the season, they don't really know how good they are or can be, and we see it as a staff, and so they're like now kind of looking around and like, oh, we can be really good this season, and that's
right.
It's game to game. They're going to keep building on that confidence.
Now you got South Florida in a week, first road game. You go up to Tampa. I mean, talk about that. Obviously now going on the road for the first time this year.
Yeah, it's definitely nice being home. We love our pitch, but South Florida is always a battle. It's a rivalry. It's physical. Last year I think we scored in the last 5 minutes of the game to win it. I think it was after we had just beat Florida State. So there's always a battle to that game. Being away is not too bad. They have a nice field. It's a day trip, so it's not, you don't have to worry about the legs getting fatigued and all that. So we're excited for that game. In-state rivalry. We need to make our mark in state, since we lost it against Florida. We got to make it against South Florida.